Somewhere right now, an enterprise is fixing the same AI-generated bug for the fourth time this month, and the scariest part is they have no idea. Not because they're incompetent. Because the system they built is designed to forget. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the hidden fragility inside AI deployments matters more than any benchmark, any product launch, or any hype cycle happening in AI right now. This week, Google taught AI to say I don't know, and it's somehow still useless. Jeff Bezos is rebranding AGI for people who found AGI too scary. And 3 stories dropped simultaneously that suggest AI is quietly becoming a matter of national security. Let's get into it. Start with the story that should be front-page news but somehow isn't. There's a concept called institutional memory, the accumulated knowledge that a company builds over years. When a developer fixes a critical bug, that fix travels through version control, through code reviews, through documentation. The whole organization gets smarter. That's how companies survive. But AI agents, according to the Overfitted long game essay this week, operate in a completely different paradigm. When an AI agent solves a problem, that solution doesn't propagate anywhere. It disappears. The next agent, in the next session, starts from zero. The newsletter calls this the hidden technical debt crisis, and unlike traditional technical debt, which you can schedule a refactoring sprint to fix, AI-generated debt compounds exponentially and resists conventional remediation. Now here's the crucial context check. There were early claims floating around that 80% of some companies' code was written by AI agents. The newsletter specifically disputes that. The actual data shows fewer than 14% of enterprise software engineers were using AI coding assistants as recently as early 2024, with 90% adoption not projected until 2028. So we're not at peak exposure yet. We're in the early innings of building on this foundation. Which means the reckoning, when it comes, will be much larger than anyone is currently pricing in. The crisis is invisible because it compounds silently, until the costs of AI-generated inefficiency finally exceed the benefits of AI-generated productivity. That tipping point has no warning label. Before I get into story 2, I want your actual hot take on this. Drop it in the comments. If AI agents can't share what they learn, is enterprise AI just renting intelligence instead of building it? Now let's talk about Google, which this week announced something called faithful uncertainty, rated just 45% credible by the newsletter, so take this with appropriate skepticism. The idea is that instead of confidently hallucinating an answer, the model expresses its competence level. It says I'm not sure about this instead of inventing facts with full conviction. And look, the instinct here is correct. Calibrated uncertainty is genuinely valuable. The problem, and the newsletter nails this, is that teaching a pathological liar to preface their lies with I think doesn't make them honest. The fundamental architecture of large language models is statistical text generation. They are pattern-matching engines that produce plausible-sounding sequences of words. Competence calibration is a layer painted on top of that. A hesitant hallucination is still a hallucination. Google's approach apparently works in controlled benchmarks. It fails when models are confidently wrong about basic facts, which the newsletter notes happens daily. So what we have is a UX improvement dressed up as a safety breakthrough. It makes AI feel more trustworthy without making it more trustworthy. And in a world where enterprises are already struggling with invisible AI debt, that distinction is everything. Speaking of things dressed up as something they're not, what Bezos did this week takes the concept to a completely different level. Jeff Bezos' AI startup reportedly announced plans to build what they're calling an artificial general engineer. Not AGI, artificial general engineer. The newsletter rates this story at just 15% credible, so treat this as marketing more than milestone. The claim is that it will handle complex engineering tasks across multiple domains. The newsletter's read as surgical. This is AGI rebranding for the enterprise market. General intelligence was too existentially terrifying for investors, so now we get general engineers, all the impossible promises with none of the existential dread. Bezos absolutely has the capital and talent to build impressive engineering tools. Nobody disputes that. But slapping the word general in front of engineer doesn't solve the fundamental challenges of AI reasoning, planning, or understanding physical systems. It just makes the pitch deck sound more achievable. And here's the thread starting to form. We have Google making AI feel safer without making it safer, Bezos making AI sound more capable without proving it, and enterprises building on AI systems that forget everything they learn. 3 different flavors of the same underlying problem. Drop your hot take below. Is artificial general engineer a genuine product category, or just AGI with better PR? Now here's where this week's stories converge into something bigger. The newsletter's .connector highlights 3 things that landed in the same news cycle. Amazon's security research triggered a White House meeting, Anthropic suddenly suspended access to their flagship models, and Canada's Prime Minister warned publicly about AI dependence. The newsletter frames this as corporate intelligence becoming state policy. Think about what that actually means. Amazon doing security research creates diplomatic consequences. A private AI company suspending model access becomes a national security conversation. A head of government has to warn citizens about depending on foreign AI infrastructure. These aren't separate stories about different companies. They're the same story about who controls the intelligence layer of the global economy. The fragility of enterprise AI that we opened with, the amnesia, the invisible debt, that fragility doesn't just threaten quarterly earnings. When the systems that run logistics, finance, healthcare, and infrastructure are built on foundations that can be suspended, banned, or broken by geopolitical friction, the stakes are categorically different. Most people watching the AI hype cycle are tracking the products. They should be tracking the dependencies. If you want the full breakdown every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, completely free, I go deep in Overfitted. This week's long essay on enterprise fragility alone is worth the subscribe. Link is in the description. No fluff, no hype. Just reality checks on what's actually happening. If this gave you a new angle on the AI story, hit like and subscribe, because next week I'm covering how the model suspension drama is reshaping which governments are building their own AI infrastructure and which ones are quietly panicking. You don't want to miss that one. And here's the question I'll leave you with. If AI systems can't remember what they learned yesterday, and the companies deploying them can't see the debt accumulating, who actually finds out first when it all breaks?